Well, hello, 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 and good evening, everyone. It is Dr. Nick here, your favorite personal growth coach, and I'm always excited to be with you every Wednesday here at 8:30 with Adulting in My Purpose Live. So, if you are joining for the first time, hello and welcome. If you are returning, listening in, welcome back. Welcome back. Say hello. Let me know that you are watching. Well, we can't do any watch parties anymore. I got the email and got the message that they're going away with doing away with watch parties. What's up with that? So now we got to share or do some other things to help expand the reach and get the word. So just share. Make sure you like share your page, tell people to join on in adulting in my purpose. So if you're out there watching for the first time, like my name is Dr. Nicole Rankin, better known as Dr. Nick. I'm a personal certified personal growth coach, and really my mission is to help youth and young adults really discover who they are and clarify their vision in life and help them develop a plan to really live in their purpose. So this whole young adult movement called adulting in my purpose came about on last year. Gosh, it has been actually a year, that we started this, and it has grown so much into so many things. Of course, we have the journal available on Amazon. So if you don't have a copy of that, grab your copy on Amazon, and you can use that to help you with your personal growth and personal development journey. It's an amazing tool and journal that you can use to help you with that deep dive in understanding who you are and helping you kind of navigate that space and understanding what it is that you want to do out of life and really get a firmer foundation. We have Facebook group, and we started this live session. So we're doing a lot with adulting in my purpose, and I'm excited to say that we have ambassadors. Wow, we are growing, and now we have adulting in my purpose ambassadors. So I'm excited. We have a team now. Uh, Teamwork makes the dream work. So there's so many things that we want to do, but I know that I can't do that by myself. I know that I can't do that by myself. So I'm excited for the team that we have that is going to be adulting in my purpose ambassadors, and you'll be hearing more from them as we come together to do some great ventures and to grow the brand and grow our reach and truly increase the reach and the impact that we have among young adults and millennials out there. So I'm excited about that because their brains are way better than mine. So I'm just really going to guide the ship. Little do they know, I'm just going to be guiding the ship. That's it. That's it. So I'm excited. They like even just in our meetings, they've had some great ideas of doing some conferences and some other meeting events and things. So we're gonna make this thing big. We're gonna truly make it a movement. It has already reached international ground. So I'm excited to see what God is going to do and how He's going to expand the reach and open the doors for adulting in my purpose and for young people and young adults to truly hone in on the movement and really know who they have been created to be and meet their purpose and truly find what it is that they want to do in life. So I am excited about that. So tonight, guys, just trying to figure out what it is, what topic that I want to share on tonight. And I know that with this, during the pandemic, have been a lot of shifts and a lot of pivots, and entrepreneurship is like one of the biggest trends and things our people are talking about. So I wanted to tackle that topic of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is on the rise among millennials and young adults. We're seeing that studies have shown. I think GoDaddy did a study in 2020 that showed nearly one out of every three millennial owns a business or has a what we call the side hustle, and then one out of five young adult said that that's really their main source of income. So we're looking at a generation that who are seeing the value in creating their own and starting their own business, even if they do the professional route and still work a 9 to 5. They're still seeing the value in entrepreneurship and creating something that they have for themselves. And I really, I can be honest and share my journey. Of course, I was a professional. I am a professional, and I didn't understand entrepreneurship in its entirety until I actually leaped out and stepped out on faith into this journey. And what I have realized is even in my path so far is that the ability, and everybody knows who knows me, and if you don't, you're gonna know by the end of this time that I'm a woman of faith. I don't do anything, outside of my faith and outside looking thinking of the will of God and what he has for me. So just even understanding the word of God that says that he has given you the ability to create and generate wealth. And when I think about that, hindsight, you think, okay, well, I go down this path, I get an education, I get degrees, I get a good job, and I'm going to create this concept of wealth. But then when I truly understood and studied and gained knowledge, right, with all I get understanding, and truly understand of what wealth is and what that looks like and how that is supposed to be passed down from generations to generations, I realized that I knew that I couldn't do that putting my eggs in one basket in my professional career. And now, so as an entrepreneur, I see things differently and understanding, how to diversify my portfolio, how to look for multiple streams of income, how to invest, how to do other things that's going to help me use the gifts, use the talents that I have to create this wealth that God has said that is available to us. So he's come to giving us that abundant life. So my thinking is, why are we limiting ourselves? Why are we putting ourselves in this box and giving that proverbial idea that we're not supposed to have wealth, or not supposed to look at money like that. So it just really just changed my thought process and my whole mindset on this whole idea of wealth and wealth generation and wealth building. And I know entrepreneurship is one way to do that. So I wanted to tackle that topic of entrepreneurship. And so I know as many young people out there that are starting, like I said, studies show one in three millennials have already have a small business or side hustle, and one in five that's like their main that's their main source of income. But still, there's still a huge number of young people out there that you may have thought about becoming an entrepreneur and making your mark in the world or owning your own business. But there's some things that kind of holding you back, right? There's some things that are stopping you from moving forward, or stopping you from taking that leap of faith, taking that plunge, and you want to do it, but maybe you have an idea, but you don't really know how to get started, whatever, or just maybe there's just that fear, and fear is a big thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But whatever the case may be, you haven't done it yet. So I'm talking to you tonight because what I want to do is kind of put myself back in the beginning of my journey and talk about some of the things that I've experienced that may help you in your journey, to just at least shift your mindset to say that maybe I can do this. And not maybe, that I can do this, and put you on the path that you can get started. You can do this. So that's what I want to take the time out to do tonight. So if that's cool with you, that is what we're going to spend some time doing on tonight. Just sharing some of the lessons and some of the things that I have learned in my journey of entrepreneurship that I believe that can help some of you young people out there that haven't got started, that you may want to get started, and even some of the adults that are tuning in, that are watching, that have thought about the idea of entrepreneurship. When you see entrepreneurs, especially the ones that have been really successful, that are out there, they paint this picture that entrepreneurship is like a glamorous, all the time, a wonderful journey, and it's always happy go lucky, and they're doing this, they're impacting, they're making all this money, and and you know what? That might be true. That might be true. But they don't tell you on the other side. The other side of the flip side of the coin of entrepreneurship. Yes, it is fun, it is exciting, it is thrill, it is rewarding, it is all of that. But you know what? It is a hard journey. And I am here to tell you the truth. Because I want to tell you the truth, because I want you to be prepared. And I don't want the truth to scare you. I want the truth to prepare you to understand that this is really the path of what that path looks like. And so you can be prepared and understand, like, okay, when I go through these problems, this is a part of the journey. It's a process. So you're literally creating something from scratch, some starting something from nothing, or doing something that you've never done before. So it is the beginning of a process of developing your idea from your imagination, just coming up with an idea to reality. So just think about that. That's not an easy task. But it's been done, right? Everything that you see around you first started with an idea. The computer the device that you're looking at and watching this, it started out with an idea, a simple idea. The lights that you have, it started out with idea. The chair that you're sitting on, the bed that you're sleeping, it started out with an idea. So think about all the ideas that have come to you in your thought process, and while you're dreaming, and the seeds that God has placed in your thought process, and your dreams and your visions, and the ideas that you have that you haven't even moved on. Think about all of the things that we have around us. What if the inventors of these gadgets, of the lights, of everything that we see and we use right now, decided that, oh, I have that idea, but I'm not gonna do it because I'm too afraid. I'm afraid, or I don't have the resources. I don't. What if? So think about that, right? So think about the idea that God has given you, and the impact it can have on the lives of the people that are waiting for you to manifest these dreams and these ideas that you have. So let's go in and start talking about just some of the things that I have experienced in this process of entrepreneurship. The first thing that I want to talk about is that belief, because that is going to be really your foundation of the whole process. You have to believe. And I know it seems cliche. Everybody says that, but if you want to, whatever you want to establish, you got to believe. And that's where, we get faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. So now you have the first thing I say, you got to believe in God. You got to believe in a higher power, that there is a purpose that has been assigned on your life to go into to make a decision to say, I'm going to go down this path, or I'm going to embark on this journey. you have to believe in something that's greater than yourself. And reason being because, and I'll talk about some of this, you're gonna face a lot of hardships during the process of entrepreneurship. And I know you want me to tell you that it's going to be okay, and you're going to start out and you're going to do great exploits, and it's just everything is going to work out. You're never going to fail. You're never going to make mistakes. But I can't do that to you. I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth, right? So when you do, it's not a matter of if you face the hard challenges, or if you make mistakes, or if you fail. It's a win, right? It's gonna be win. It's gonna be about win, and then what you do and how you recover and how you keep moving forward. So having that belief system that is that you have having that belief in God, in a power that's higher than yourself, to say that God has a purpose for my life, it grounds you. It gives you that foundation to say, okay, God is with me. This is bigger than myself. I'm not relying on myself. I'm relying on his strength. And so now you have something to pull your source from, right? So this belief I say that's the foundation of entrepreneur for me, and like I said, I'm sharing with you my journey. So that right there is like the core of the foundation. I don't think I could have left the comfort of my professional career to jump out into the unknown, literally the unknown, without my belief system, without my faith. And so I say that is number one off the bat, hands down, no argument, period. So having that faith in God, having that belief that he's given something, before you were in your mother's wombs, he knew you, and he has something for you. He plans to prosper you, plans for a future. And so now you're making that commitment to say that I want to truly reach my full potential. I want to use the gifts that he's given me. I want to use the talents that he's given me to build something. And so that all requires faith. So I said, if one, you got to believe your belief system, you got to believe in God. Next, you got to believe in yourself, right? And this could be a hard thing, and this could be a reason why many people, and especially as young people, that you have ideas but you don't move on them, because it's that you have those negative self beliefs, or those limiting beliefs, or those self doubts that creep in, where you're questioning yourself. Maybe you feel that I'm not worthy enough, or I don't know enough, or I don't have enough. So you got to be able to believe in yourself. I always tell my young people that you can be successful if nobody believes in you, but you can never be successful if you don't believe in yourself. Right. So you got to believe in yourself that you through the power of the God that you serve, can do this. Right. And once you begin to believe in yourself, you gain it's like a ripple effect, because you believe in yourself. Then what happens is that your level of self esteem starts to increase, and your level of self confidence starts to increase. So you begin to talk differently. You begin to walk differently. Your self talk becomes more positive, as opposed to seeing the negative in all situations. So your mindset begins to change. Your thinking begins to change. Your attitude begins to change. So that belief in yourself, it has a trickling effect on everything that you do. So as you are thinking about entrepreneurship, your belief in God to say, okay, I have an idea that I want to launch on, and now I'm believing on myself. I'm betting on me. I'm betting on me. And you got to bet on yourself. You got to believe in yourself. And then when you start believing in yourself, you believe in the vision that you have, and you believe in the idea. And so I say that's kind of the first thing in starting this journey of entrepreneurship. It is that belief. It's having that belief that you can do this. So you got to ask yourself, do you believe that it can be done? Right? So don't start any adventure without even thinking that it can work, and it will work. If having that belief, and if you're struggling with that belief, then that's where your growth process needs to start. So you need to start growing yourself so you can um build your belief muscle. And then now you're working towards the process of now starting the business and starting the moving on the idea of the business venture that you have. So you got to figure out where you are in the process. Most businesses, statistically, most businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years, right? So you want to identify areas and places that you would need to grow to help you avoid a lot of some of the pitfalls that many entrepreneurs face and can't recover. So this is why I'm sharing with you these things that I've experienced, so you can think about these things. If it's something that you're really wanting to do. So that belief system is going to help you do so many things. It's going to really help you move past the fears. And I say move past because the fears are there. And I don't care if you ask any entrepreneur in the world, do they have fears? And if they say no, I will argue that because the fear is always there, because it's a human nature. It's a natural instinct. But the idea is that they do it anyway. So it's a matter that they have overcome and built up that muscle to overcome the negative thought process of fears that when they come. So it's not the fact that they don't have fear or they don't face fear. It's the fact that they face it and learned how to overcome it. So they can now say that they are, quote, fearless, right? But, so it helped, that belief system helps you overcome the fear. So the fears are always going to, no matter where you are, no matter what level, there's going to be another level of fear, right? Because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So no matter how good you think you are, there's somebody and going to be like, oh, you ain't all that, it's not going to work, and then that is going to perpetuate some other things. And if you continue to feed that fear, then that's when you're not going to move forward. So you want to find ways to feed your faith and feed your belief system. And that's why having that foundation is going to be like critical. So I say start with that belief system and check your belief system. You're wanting to be an entrepreneur. Look at your belief system. Look at any doubts that you may have. Look at anything that is stopping you from moving forward. Any limiting beliefs. So believing that you can is part of the battle, right? So it's going to help you face so many things. I think it was Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So, and we know the word says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share on the journey, that I know for me, that's where I had to start on my belief system, because for me, it was a big jump. It was a big jump for me to move from the comfort of where I was, in the routine that I was in, my comfort zone, to move to something of the unknown. But I knew that unknown was going to take me to greater heights, right? So I had to have that belief system filled in that gap. So the next thing that I can share is that you got to do your research. So say you have an idea, and then you've thought about this, you have some dreams, you have an idea that you want to move on. Do your research, do your due diligence. There are so many resources out there for you. I mean, you got the world at the touch of a button, and you guys use it. You're always on multiple devices. So do your research, read up on things, learn what you need to do in order to create that in order to make that dream or that vision or that idea come to pass. So if you are wanting to open a restaurant, a special type of restaurant, then you know that you need some business license. There are things that you need to have in place before you just launch out and do something. So do your due diligence and tackle and research your market. As entrepreneurs, we are problem solvers, right? And to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to know who you serve and what problem you're going to be solving. That's what people pay for problems. People pay for you to solve their problems. That's what entrepreneurs and businesses are. People buy from restaurants because they're solving problems. People are hungry. They want food, so they come to your restaurant. You're solving a problem. So think about what problem are you going to solve and who are you going to solve it for? You got to do your research. And you have an idea, and I'm a part of a lot of networking groups, especially like the Facebook groups, and I see a lot of times entrepreneurs, share that they people aren't buying their products, or people aren't into the things that they are selling, or the things that they are marketing, and I question, what problem are you solving? Because if you were solving a problem, and it's not the idea that you think is great, you can think it's great all the time, all day and day. And as one of my mentors say, even on Sunday. But if people aren't buying what you're selling, the product, the service, whatever it is, you don't have a business. So you got to be able to identify what problem are you solving, even if it's a great idea to you, but you you can't be in a business by yourself. So you got to identify, and this is why you do your research. Because a lot of times people go into business, and they are because they think it's a great idea, and they feel everybody needs it, and it's going to be great because without it, people did it, and they go into business, and nobody's making money. Why? Because they didn't do their research. And even if it's a great product, and if it's something that people need, there might be a way that you can have to pivot, or have to tweak it, or have to promote it, or have to find those people who are in need of it. So there are so many things that you have to do. So researching is going to be critical in your journey in the beginning process. So this will help you to have a little bit more comfort as starting your own business, so you have that data to back your decision. When I went into when I started my journey, I had an idea, and I had, knowing, of course, everybody say, I want to help people. I want to help people. And that's great, because it's great to help people. But what do you want to do, and who do you want to do it for? So I had to kind of massage that and learn what gap was I filling, and what problem was I solving. Because at first I thought I was going to solve all the problems. And that's what I started doing, trying to help everybody grow personally and leadership development. And I realized quickly that that was not the way to go. So after doing my research, and truly delving into who I was, and matching my personality, and what it is that I was passionate about with the problems and the gaps that I saw, that's when I was able to find my niche, hone in, focus, and then hit the ground running, right? So these are the things that you want to think about when you're starting your own business: is do your research. Do your research before you just jump out there. Do your research, and find out what you need for your particular industry. What are some of the things that you need? What are some of the things that you need to establish yourself as a business owner? So many people jump into starting a business and don't even have a business plan, don't have a business license, the business is not registered. And, I'm talking to the people that's truly wanting to establish something that's credible, and something that's going to be long lasting, right? We can have a side hustle, and that's great, but I'm talking about something that will live longer than you. And that's legacy building. And when I remember, when I talked about earlier, that wealth building, that's the mentality and the thought process that we have to think about. What is that legacy going to look like? What are you going to think about when what you're going to pass on after you're gone? And that's the level of thought process that I'm talking to and talking about now. So first is belief, two, do your research. Another thing that I can say that's important about this journey is that when you start, depending on what your business is, you may be partnering with someone, and I'll talk more about that. But you most of the time when you start a journey of entrepreneurship, you enter into what we call the solopreneur phase. So you're by yourself, and that fight really can seem very lonely and very sad at times, because you, as a solopreneur, when you're starting your business, um, you are everything. So, here I am. I transitioned from my professional career where I was just the expert in my job duty and my job title. So I did that and I did it well. I excelled in it, and I didn't have to worry about any other thing. I just did my job to the best of my ability. However, as an entrepreneur, the whole different ball game, because not only do you have to do the programming side, but there is an operational side of a business that you have to take care of. So in the beginning, you are going to be everything. You are going to be the HR department, you are going to be the accounting department, receivable and payable side. You are going to be the marketing and advertising department. You are going to be the CEO, the CFO, the everything. So you got to think about how you're building your business, and think about the roles that you are going to have to play in the beginning. And again, it may seem like a lonely battle as a solopreneur, but it's okay because you're starting out and having the understanding that you don't know what you don't know, and it's okay. But as an entrepreneur, just because you don't know doesn't mean you don't do. So as when you don't know, you have to have the ability to find out. That's what it said. This is a learning process, a learning journey. And a lot of people don't tell you this. You'll see the success, you see the glam, you see all the great people in the highlights, you liking them on social media. They don't tell you about the hardship. They don't tell you, because that's not glamorous, right? That's not gonna get likes, that's not gonna get loves, right? It's the lights and the glamour that will allow them to get successful, but they don't tell you, or they don't show you the pain. They don't show you the process. They don't show you the amount of nights that they cried because things didn't work out. They don't show you how much money they lost, and how much money they invested to get to where they are. They don't show you all of that. So I say that to say, because I want to prepare you, not to scare you, but so you can have the understanding that you're going to have to come up against some of these things, and you may get overwhelmed by doing it alone. But the thing is, you may start alone, but you don't have to end alone. And when I talk about a legacy, building something that's greater than yourself, know that you can't do it alone. My mentor says one is too small of a number for success. And so when you think about the long-term vision, and this is something that I had to, like I'm saying, I'm sharing my journey, and I'm sharing my lessons with you, is because when I started out, I got frustrated, y'all. I questioned, and I can say that I'm honest. Yes, I'm a woman of faith, and I believe that it was God that led me. But I'm like, you sure, God? You sure you called me to do this? There are times that I question, like, what in the world did I do? I was comfortable working at the Centers for Disease Control, getting that check every 2 weeks. I was good. So I questioned that. And then I'm like, now I'm here. I'm doing this all loaded. It gets frustrating. You get tired and you feel like, oh my gosh, it feels overwhelming. But again, you go back to your belief system. That's why I said that's the beliefs is that foundation. You go back to the belief system and like, okay, God, I know you call me to this, and there's something greater that's greater than me, and so I'm going to keep pushing forward. So you start out as a solopreneur, but then you learn how to navigate and how to build the needed relationships that you need to help you build your business. So when I started thinking, going with the mindset, doing away with the mindset, but that is about me, and learn the concept about going from me to we, that's when it was a game changer. So, like I said, you may start out as a solopreneur because you're building that foundation, but you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay when you're talking about building a long-term business. You don't want to stay with that solopreneur mindset. You want to think, how can I expand? How can I build a team? And so when I started thinking about that, I knew that I couldn't be all of those positions, all of those roles. I couldn't do that, like literally and physically. I could not do that all by myself. So I had to find ways, whether it was actual people or it was systems, softwares, to help me put the systems in place that I needed so I can move forward, and do what I needed to do, as an entrepreneur. So that's the thing you're going to have to think about is, although you may start out as a solopreneur, you don't have to stay that way. And so I want you to start thinking, like, how can I look at this and plan for the long haul? And so when you start doing that, your mindset starts to change. So that's something that I learned. Another thing that I want to share is that failure. We talk about failure. Let me put a plug right there, for a minute. You will fail often. Let me say that for the people in the back. You will fail often. Right. So it's not about, like I said this before, it's not about if, it's about when. Failure is amongst the road of success. As an entrepreneur, especially if you're new to it, brand new, like I was coming from a corporate background, where I had a professional career, and moving into the unknown. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. Half the time, I still don't know what I'm doing. But you don't know what you don't know. So how could I expect that I was going to succeed at everything I tried when I started this journey? And it's I mean, when you think about it, it's really ludicrous to think that it's gonna succeed and gonna be successful. I've never done it before. And no, I'm always using the analogy of a toddler just learning to walk. They, as a toddler, they're crawling around, rolling around, but they look up and see everybody around them walking on these two legs that they got. They don't understand the concept, but they just see it, like, wait a minute, why is everybody standing up walking on these two legs? And so they decide within themselves one day that, hey, I'm going to give this thing a try. And so they pull themselves up on a coffee table or a couch, and they said, okay, I'm up like everybody else. Now let's try this walking thing that everybody else is doing. And so they may take a step and may take a couple of steps, and what do? They just fall back down. But as a toddler, you don't know failure. You're like, oh, okay, I gotta try this thing again. So they get back up and they try it again until they start walking. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. You don't know, you see people are doing it, you see people grinding, you see people flexing on social media about their business, about their success, about the money they making and all that stuff. You see it, may not understand the concepts of it, but and as you try it, you're going to fail because you don't know. You just see the success, you just see the final outcome, but you have to embrace it, as failure, as part of the normal process. And as my mentor said, learn how to fail forward. Failure is not a negative thing. Failure is a reason to learn. You learn from your mistakes, you learn how to grow. It's a growth opportunity, because if you're not growing from the mistakes and the failures that you make, there's a problem. because what's going to happen is you're just going to continue to repeat it. So those are growth opportunities. So understanding that failure is a part of the process. Failure is something that you really have to embrace, and when you embrace it, you learn from it. Okay, why did this happen? What could I have done to prevent it? What did I learn from it? Did I really need to do this? So you assess it, and then you keep moving forward. And so when you the distressing times come again, now you be like, oh, okay, this happened already, so I'm prepared, and I'm battle tested. I can endure this, right? So that is a understanding, so that when that time comes around, you're able to tackle it much better. You're able to just shake it off, and you don't worry about it. And so understanding that the road to success is filled with bumps of failure. It's going to be ups and downs, going to be challenges, going to be mistakes. But in order to succeed, you're going to have to make those mistakes. You're going to have to learn. It's all a part of the equation, but it's necessary that you keep going. So a lot of times, as young people, you may not want to. You got a great idea. It's burning inside of you, but you have the fear that you're going to fail. And I'm here to tell you that it's okay. It is okay. It is okay. We all have done it, and we all do it. And I still have more failures to make. I have made some, and I have learned from it, and I have just learned to embrace that process. So don't let that fear of failure stop you from moving on that idea, from moving on that dream, from moving on that vision that God is giving you, because that is going to help you. That's all a part of your growth process. Okay, so belief, redoing your due diligence, and researching your market, researching your audience, researching your industry, all of the things that you need to do to start and develop your business, and to kind of lay that solid foundation. And then also embracing failure. Another thing is perseverance, guys. you know I know, as young people, we like the quick, fast microwave society, but as my brother Cedric Lafleur said, you got to have an oven mentality. A lot of times we don't use the oven much anymore, but it's quick, fast in the microwave. But entrepreneurship it's all about perseverance and consistency over time. I when I first started my journey, I used to look at all the successful people that I valued as great entrepreneurs, and got caught up in the social media, and looking at their lives, and seeing their great successes. And what I said, you see the glam, you see the final result, but what you don't realize is that final result is an actual result of maybe a 20-year journey. Or a 15-year journey, a 10-year journey. Even if it's a 5 or 3-year journey, those 3 or 5 years, they ain't gonna tell you what happened, or what took place for them to reach to the level where they are. So it is understanding that this is a process. And so when you think about entrepreneurship, it's hard. It's hard work. And so it takes time for a business to be established. It takes time for you to build your brand. It takes time for people to know that you are a viable solution to a problem that they may have. And it takes time to build that credibility. It takes time to, you got to, of course, you have the learning curve where you got to learn about your business, how to establish your business. You got to learn the marketing side of your business. You got to learn. So there's so many pieces to the puzzle that it just takes time. So you got to embrace the idea and be persistent. And so you make that resolve to say that this is the vision that I have. This is the idea that I have. I'm not going to quit until it's manifested, until I see this all the way through. Think of all of the people that you have seen successful, have faced the no's, and faced rejection, and face the the failures in their lives, and you can hear all of their stories, the Oprahs, the Tyler Perry's, the Steve Jobs, the all of the Jeff Bezos, all of them have faced the failures, and they'll tell you the stories of how many times they failed before they got to that one time that that they actually was successful. But the idea is that they were persistent, right? They persevered through all of that. So you have to find that level of grit, is what we call the grit that you have, that you're going to be determined to make this happen, that you're not going to give up. You're going to have that never give up attitude, don't quit attitude, no, whatever it takes. That you're going to keep grinding until it happens. So in order to be successful, you got to keep going. And so that perseverance is going to be critical. So you got to, before you just jump out there and say, hey, I want to start a business, you got to ask yourself, are you willing? Are you going to be willing to do what it takes to get what you need done? Are you going to be willing to make that sacrifice? I know as a young person, you're like, wait, this is my young days. I want to turn up. I want to do this. But sometimes if you're thinking of building the wealth that you desire, you have a business idea, it's a thing that you may have to sacrifice a little bit now so you can do the things that you want to later. And that for me, that is what I see entrepreneurship as. I see it as freedom. And when I say freedom, it's freedom for a lot of things. It's not only financial freedom, but it's also the freedom to choose. And the freedom to choose is a powerful thing. And I know God has given us the power of choice in everything that we do. But when you have the freedom to choose what it is that you want to do, when you want to do it, why you want to do it, how you want to do it, nothing can take that away. And that's why I see entrepreneurship as it's that freedom. So as young people, we know a lot of millennials are out there grinding to start their business, to actually establish something that's their own, creating their own destiny. And I applaud you. I root for you. I get it. I get it. Now that I am out here in this journey, and I've experienced both worlds on both sides of the coin, and value both, because the skill sets that I gained during my professional career is actually the major skill sets that I'm using now in my entrepreneur journey. So you just imagine, that imagine what you can do. Your imagination, right, is an amazing thing. And I know as we mature, we get in our adult status, we fail to use our imagination. When we're kids, we can imagine all kinds of things. Like, we imagine we're superheroes and that we can fly, literally. So we, put the blanket around our neck and actually start jumping off from the top of the flight of steps. And all it's an imagination. It's a wild imagination. Kids can think of everything. But somehow as we become older, we lose that. So even as young people, as young adults, don't lose your imagination, because that's where God is going to speak. He's going to take you into a place that is so bigger than you, so greater than you. It's an amazing journey to step into, and to see the things that you can do through your imagination, through the seeds that are planted. So really just take time and imagine what your life could look like, and truly think about, if you're wanting to start a business, what that would look like for the long term. And I'm thinking, when I want you to start out, I want you to get out this side hustle mentality. I'm talking about wealth building, and generational, breaking some generational curses. So we just need to get out that hustle, that side hustle that mentality and establish ourselves. And has used the visions that God has has given you, the talents that God has given you, the giftings that He's giving you. Use that's what they're there for, and we're talking about generational wealth for your children and your children's children, right? So you can't do that on a side hustle. So we're talking about long term, and you start small. I know the vision is big, but you got to start somewhere, right? Start with what you know. Start with where you are, and the key is just to start. And so I say this as I'm wrapping up. I hope some of the lessons that I have shared was helpful for you, and for those young people, millennials out there that's thinking about, have an idea that they want to start a business, and I hope that was if some of some value. And now you can say to yourself that I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And do what you need to start. Start with where you are. And again, so, I am available. Please reach out. Adulting in My Purpose. This is what this is for, to um, help you find your niche and find the things that you want to do in your life, and truly live the life that God has called you to live. So I definitely wanted to talk about this topic because I know it's a hot topic, especially with young people. And when we're going through our small groups, that's one of the major things that many of the young people who have gone through the course Adulting in My Purpose, they talk about starting their business or building their business. So I wanted to take some time to address that. So hope it was great. Make sure you get your copy of Adulting in My Purpose. The journal is available on Amazon. Make sure you get your copy of Adulting in My Purpose. Bless a Young Person is a great tool to help young people truly discover who they are, taking them on a self-discovery journey, increasing their personal growth and development. They'll go on 7 personal growth journeys, starting with self-reflection, self-awareness, self-belief, self-knowledge, self-improvement, self planning and self motivation. So they'll go through those. There are activities and questions that will allow you to dive deeper into that. There's also a bonus website that comes with the journal that you will have access to. Once you buy the journal, you'll get the access information that you'll have more content, more videos. More activities and things that you can access there to help you with your growth and personal development. So, guys, it has been great. We will reconvene, next week. Again, we'll be back Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you share, tell a friend, and we'll come back with another teaching. We'll probably have another guest. Millennials Making Moves will be back. Our Ask the Expert segment will be coming back. We have some more great things in store now that we have some Adulting in My Purpose ambassadors. Shout out to you all if you all are watching or watching the replay. I'm excited. Like I said, one is too small of a number of success. So these ideas and all of these things that come to me and then we share as a group, we can't do it alone. So I'm excited about what's to come. So I thank God for the ambassadors that have come and accepted the call. So look out for that. Look out for some amazing things that are coming your way with Adulting in My Purpose as we continue to expand this movement. So as always, hope that you found value in what we shared today. You guys out there, be safe and always be blessed. We'll see you next week. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, and blessed evening. Bye-bye.